Hey guys, welcome back. This is gonna be a trade recap, gonna be real short and simple, just gonna go over the current stats of the account. I'm not really sure what the last video went over, but as you can see, my win rate dropped a lot. And I'll explain that in a second. We're up $9,000 on the account, we're up 9% on the account overall. We've taken 82 trades, 16 break even. Right now we're sitting at a 30 wins, 36 losses. Yeah, took a lot of losses, but we're overall green, so hey, I mean, that's a good thing. We just got to win. This is the win I'm going to be going over because I'm kind of still learning how to predict direction more accurately, and what to look out for in a way that makes sense to me. This is where I suffered a lot of the losses, and I really struggled in October. I don't particularly remember the reason why, but we can perhaps look at that. As you can see, a lot of losses mixed in with the wins. I think I had 4 wins in September and a lot of losses. So 4 wins to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losses. Yeah, I really suffered a lot in September and October. November so far on a Friday of all days went pretty well. And yeah, we're just gonna take a look at what we did here really quick. I kind of want to go over why I potentially suffered in October and I think September, October, right? Because we're in November now. We just entered November. So okay, so this is October. So the reason I struggled a lot in October, because I think October first started here, right? So we were kind of like, we started like going down, and then we kind of like, I would consider this roughly a daily consolidation, especially right here. Then we had a lot of back and forth, then and then we went into another daily consolidation, and then we, plummeted here, and then we had a lot of back and forth. I just see really deep retracements. I'm not gonna lie, October was really difficult for me, and honestly, I feel like September was a lot more straightforward. I'm not really sure why I struggled so much in September. Because it was really mostly an up month, really. But definitely these daily consolidations would have been kind of problem, and probably these deep retracements, is probably why I struggled overall, I think. Really deep retracements. So yeah, I struggled. So, anyways, with that being said, let's just go over what I did on a Friday. Really shocked that I got this trade, but on a Friday on the 1st of November. So just coming into the daily chart, I was saying like, okay, where are we in time? What's the drawn liquidity? What could we perhaps look like? Is there anything that just stands out to us on the daily chart, right? So right now, my current approach is to kind of just focus more on the higher time frames and kind of look at what price is telling us that it potentially wants to do. So initially, I was thinking that we're going to continue bullish, not bullish, continue bearish, because we had 2 days that were very bearish. But I had to also take in consideration that it's a Friday, and Fridays, you don't really see big move days, although it looks like this Friday is turning out to be a big move day. But realistically speaking, we could come back into the range, right? But I was also, so I was like, it's a Friday, we could come back into the range. That's definitely plausible. I'm not really expecting big moves on a Friday. And then, okay, if we're going to come back into the range, what is the reason? Well, we did just take out this low here, and, we just took out this low, so I don't really think we have much reason to go lower here, if I'm being honest. So that was my initial that was my initial reasoning that I was going in with. And then I also realized that we actually had, it's kind of hard to see, but we do have an SMT here where ES took this candle's low, but Nasdaq didn't. So I was like, okay, that's actually very bullish off the bat. So as you can see here, I marked that out, took out the low. We have an SMT here, and that's kind of what I outlined on the daily. So then jumping down to the 4-hour. So the 4-hour, I'm going to be looking at this. I'm going to be marking out the 800 candle, which is right here. Excuse me. And our 6 o'clock candle, which is right here. So just looking at this, I realized, one, you can see the SMT here. But two, we didn't really make a significant low. And if you're wondering what I mean by significant low, please check out GTX 4-hour profiling video. It explains what I mean by significant low. I actually had to go back and watch that to look at the examples because I thought I understood the 4-hour profile and how to use it, but it turns out I didn't fully understand, because that video just covers like reversal swing points, basically the types of swing points and how you can expect price to develop based on the kind of swing point that is developing. But it also shows how to use it in terms of how the low of the day could possibly form out and how we can use that to inform the rest of the day. With that being said, looking at this 800 candle and how this candle developed, we didn't really make a significant low of day. So I was like, okay, we're not really making a significant low of day. We could come back down and maybe just continue going down. So at this point, I had marked out this fair value gap here because this 6 o'clock candle, this is the 6 o'clock candle, we were still standing, we were still here. So I was like, okay, we could bounce off this and go lower, but I also had to keep in mind that we did have a bullish SMT here. So I was like a little bit like, okay, I'm not really sure here. We're getting mixed signals. But if you look here, I did mark that out. I still have this SMT here. And we, coming into the 930, we were kind of holding here. So at this point, I was like, okay, like I'm kind of, you know, maybe leaning more to the downside just because the order flow is bearish technically. So I have a lot of, I think that's the issue that I'm running into. I just have a lot of conflicting confluences and essentially like biases, things that are informing like contradictory bias to what I initially thought was going to happen, right? So I initially was saying it's going to go up, but then as soon as I see that we're holding here, I'm like, okay, maybe we're going to go down, despite the fact that we have a bullish SMT still, right? So I need more information, but at the same time, I think just looking at what's there, I think it just still makes sense to go be bullish. So I think I have a hard time with flipping my bias when I need to take into consideration the more dominant confluences that are at play here, right? But regardless, with that being said, we came in, I was looking at the 1 hour, and looking at the 1 hour, I realized that we had another SMT, another bullish SMT. But for some reason, I was still thinking like, we're probably gonna go down. We're probably gonna bounce off. Why? I don't know. My mind just keeps thinking bearish because we're holding. But then I was like, you know what? I don't really know. Let's just look at how price develops coming into the 930 open. So this is 930's candle, right? So I was I didn't really go down any lower than the 15-minute at this point because I was like, I don't know what the heck we're doing. I don't know what price wants to do. So at this point, when I saw that we closed above this bearish fair value gap and that we had a change in state, I was like, at this point, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to be bullish because this invalidates a bearish model, like a bearish setup, right? So at this point, I'm like, I'm bullish. But I could have entered on the 15-minute. The only reason I didn't want to enter on the 15-minute is just because if I had long this, my stop would have need to be down here and I would need to see price go here. Which I guess this would have also been a valid setup. It got pretty close. The day's not done. It's only 10, so it definitely could. I'm not going to play it yet. I'll probably play at the end to see if it gets there or not, but I can do that for you guys and see, because you could have totally set this on the 15-minute, but I didn't want to have such a big stop loss, even though I could have. But anyways, so I decided to take this trade on the 5-minute, and I decided to take it as soon as yeah, so on the 5-minute we had another SMT right here at these lows. So that gave me a lot more confidence, especially when I saw price. I think it was I'm not sure what candle it was. It was either this candle or this candle. I think it was this candle, but it hadn't developed as far. I think it was just on the opening of this candle. I decided to enter the trade because we closed above this bearish fair value gap and we did SMT at the low. So in theory, this low should be protected at this point. And if we're going to go higher, I'd want to see this order block hold, right? Or propulsion block, whatever you want to call it. I think this would be called a propulsion block, but I just call it order block. It should, in theory, hold. So I entered on this candle, and it kind of just went up and gave me the entry, gave me my TP, basically. So that was how that played out. I took this on the 5 minute. I didn't go any lower than that. I mean, you could have taken it on the 3 minute, but it would have ended up being roughly the same thing anyways. You could have entered as soon as we close above this order block. This candle would have filled you, would have got a slightly better fill. But it's whatever. But I entered a little bit on like here at the open of this candle. And I got my 2R. So if you want to see if you could have, let's see if our TP would have been hit if we took this long on the 50-minute. Stop would have had to been here. Targeting 2R. So I'll probably just go for it an hour. So yeah, it would have been hit. Would have been we would have had a deep retracement back into our, actually not the 50-minute entry, but your 5-minute entry would have had a deep retracement, but we would have actually ended up hitting TP. So yeah, totally could have took this on the 50-minute as well. Yeah. And you would have got filled at 11 o'clock. So this was a really cool trade. I'm really hoping that I can apply this approach to the next couple of trades I take. It's very difficult. Like, I understand like the type of things I should be looking for, but being able to apply it day by day, month by month, year by year, I think is the most difficult thing, especially when you go on a losing streak like I kind of did and had really a lot of like losing trades. You start to question your approach to looking at the market. Despite the fact that I did end up green, but I start to like question, like, am I doing this right? Does my strategy actually work? And clearly it does, because I still end up green, but seeing all the red and just seeing like how much I struggled through the months of October and September, you know, kind of discouraged me a little bit. Not enough to give up, because some people don't even get here. Keep in mind, I've only been trading for like seriously for 5 months. This is an amazing accomplishment for me. And to have come this far, there's no way I can give up now. Not when I'm so close. And you guys are probably like, bro, I wish I had your results. What are you complaining about? Understandably so, but my goal, I don't have a job right now. I just graduated like 5 months ago. I have debt, college debt that I need to pay off. I'm right now, I'm living as a bum. You know what I mean? Like, I have a lot on the line here. The longer job market is trash, but at the same time, the longer I take to find a job, the harder it is to get a job later on, right? And I don't want to get a job. I want to live my life. So I'm really putting everything I have into this. And if I want to be able to use these prop companies and, you know, build my wealth, build my accounts and all that stuff, I need to be able to add multiple accounts to grow my capital so I can make more money. But I need to be able to make that 6% more consistently. And as you can see, if any of these months, except for July, were prop challenges, I would not have gotten it. And not only that, I would have also lost the money I paid for these accounts. This would have been $50 if we're going for the cheaper option. $50. This month is not done yet, but this would have been $50, despite making 3%, right? This is $50, $100, $150, $200. That would be $200 down the drain, right? I can't afford to do that. I don't have a job right now. So I need to be able to make that 6% more consistently, and that's what I'm trying to do. But not only that, if you can make 6% or over 5% a month, like, you're like professional level, you know what I mean? That's like, you're a really good professional trader at that point. So that's the level I'm trying to get to. These are not bad results. Like, if you're using a personal account, these are not bad results at all. I'm definitely a trader. Although I haven't really traded a live, well, no, that's wrong. I have a Forex account with actual money in it, which I have traded on. I don't primarily trade Forex right now. I trade futures, but I do have a live account on Forex. With that being said, I just need to get to that point where once I can do the 6% more consistently in backtesting, I'm not sure if I just want to jump into the prop challenge. I don't really think I have a problem with execution in live markets. I do trade live, I do live forward testing, as you guys can see in the videos on my channel, and I don't really have a problem with execution. And you're probably like, well, when it's real money, you will. I don't think so, because I approach this, I always mentally prepare myself to use real money, and I do have a live Forex account, so I do know what it's like to use real money already. That's not really my issue. I don't really have an issue pulling the trigger. If I'm seeing the things that I want to see in price, then I'm going to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with that. It's just seeing those results more consistently and being able to trust myself, trusting myself that I can make those 6%. Like right now, if I was to go on a prop challenge with these metrics, I'd be like, I don't know if I'm going to pass this challenge. And knowing that I'm more likely to fail it than pass, that's already not, a good mindset to be going into the challenge with. So yeah, that's kind of just where I am right now. I'm trying to get better at predicting direction. Everything else is set. I already know how to enter the trade. I already know where my area of interest is. I already know how to use time and price. It's just more so getting that direction correctly, recognizing when I'm in low probability conditions, and being able to get that 6% more consistently. That's really it. But with that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave any comments if you have any, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.